when you're actually finding these recipes? Do you have any strategies on finding healthier options online or?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I like to cook, and if you look back at some of my Instagram stuff, or you look at like the Peak City Gym Clean Sheets recipe guide, we used to have recipe cards up at the front desk. I mean, all of the pictures that we take for those are in my kitchen. They're the things that I've cooked. So I like to cook, but I'm not a chef coming up with my own recipes. Actually, when you came along and we are talking about all the AI stuff, and one of the major complaints in here is people who are cooking for one or cooking for two, and there's either way too much left over or something like that. I'll use ChatGPT to, put in, these are the ingredients I have, or whatever parameters. So I want this meal with these ingredients done in 20 minutes, and it'll give me suggestions that way. There's also a ton of resources online between YouTube videos and cooking websites. Granted, you have to scroll through their entire blog to the end to get to the actual recipe, but that's fine. And what I do is I just look for different things, like what can I substitute out of there. If there's flour, a lot of times I will put in like brown rice flour or something different to make it gluten-free. I'm not necessarily someone that's gonna demonize gluten. I do eat it from time to time, especially in those baked goods I talked about in the other video. But if I'm making a dinner, then I'm gonna use rice flour. I'm gonna use some other ingredients that don't necessarily beef up inflammation or calories.
I think that's an interesting point of when you are finding recipes, you're also thinking of potential ways of adjusting it to fit what you're looking for. Maybe it's not fully switching out, or maybe it's using a different protein than what it recommends, whether it be beef or steak or a really fatty cut of pork. You're switching that out to have a leaner cut necessarily, or just changing flour or some other ingredient to make it gluten-free or more tolerant for you and your diet or your family. And recipes are more suggestion cards of how to make food, and it can give you the step-by-step of how to prep the food, which can be very helpful if you're not familiar with cooking techniques and you haven't cooked a lot. I know I've worked with a lot of clients, even in their 40s, 50s, sometimes even 60s, that are not very comfortable in a kitchen, and that's totally fine. Not everyone has to be chef extraordinaires, but recipes are really more of a suggestion towards getting a meal that is complete and tastes relatively good depending on your flavor profiles.